Welcome to another episode of Baker's Gonna Bake. I'm Sabrina, and today we're making cupcakes. We're gonna dive right on in with our cupcakes. So first things first, we have 3/4 cup of hot water in this bowl right here. Now you can use coffee if you want to impress, but I'm just gonna use water today. And then right here I have a cup of cocoa powder. And so I'm just gonna add this right to my water and I'm going to whisk it together. So good. It gets nice and clumpy and thick in here once you mix that. And I'm going to add my eggs. I have 4 eggs that I'm going to add to this. Okay, and I also have 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Right on in. We're just gonna give that a nice mix. All right, that looks pretty well incorporated to me. So next we're gonna take our stand mixer and we're gonna start adding stuff to that, and we'll add this to everything else later. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take 2 cups of flour and we're gonna dump it right on in to our stand mixer. Then you're going to take your sugars. So we have a cup of white sugar and we're gonna go ahead and pour that in. And we have a cup of packed brown sugar that we're gonna add too. And then in this little bowl here, I have my baking soda, baking powder, and salt. So for that, it's gonna be 1.5 teaspoons of salt. It's gonna be 2 teaspoons of baking powder and 1 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. Okay, and we're gonna go ahead and start mixing this. Once that's mixed pretty good, we're gonna go ahead and add our butter. It's been melted and then cooled. And to this, it's about a stick and a half of unsalted butter. So that's 3/4 cups of butter. And we're also going to add our buttermilk. So I cooled this down to room temperature and it's 3/4 cups. So we'll go ahead and add that. And we're going to beat this all together with our oil as well, which is 2 tablespoons of oil. And we're gonna beat it on medium-low speed. We're gonna make sure to keep scraping down the sides of our bowl. And then we're going to beat it just until it's smooth. Okay, this looks nice and smooth. So next we're gonna go ahead and add our cocoa powder mixture, where we mix our cocoa powder and our eggs together. So go ahead and throw that on in there. Okay, this mixture looks really good. We don't want to overmix this, we just want to make sure to mix it until it's smooth. It should look something like this. All right, I have a prepared muffin pan right here that has baking cups in it, and we're going to fill this with the batter. Each tin should have about 1/3 cup of batter in it, and you want to only make sure it's 2/3 full, because if you fill it up too much, you are going to have a little accident in your oven, and that is no fun. It's about 2/3 of the way full. All right, my oven is preheated to 350 degrees. My cupcakes are all spread out through my cupcake pan, and I actually use the rest to make a cake, because we're gonna put these in the oven for about 20 to 25 minutes for our cupcakes and close to an hour for our cake. Let's see how they turn out. They're all done and out of the oven and they are cooling. And while they're doing that, we're gonna go ahead and make our delicious chocolate frosting. So grab your chocolate and your milk and head on over to the stove so we can heat them up. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and start our frosting off by taking 8 ounces of chocolate and dumping it on into our bowl. We have this glass bowl that's over some simmering water so that we can heat up our chocolate. And then we have 1/3 cup of whole milk that we're going to go ahead and pour into that. And then we're just going to continuously stir this while it heats up. See, it's already melting real nice. We'll get this all melted and then we'll set aside and let it cool a little bit and add it to the rest of our frosting. All right, so it looks good now. It's a nice smooth texture, so we can go ahead and turn it off and set it aside and let it cool. Okay, next step for our frosting is to take 8 ounces of cream cheese right here in our bowl, and we're going to add about 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter right into there. Then we're going to add our salt. So we have a teaspoon of kosher salt. Delicious. And we're going to take our electric mixer and we're going to mix all that together. Once that's incorporated, we're going to take our powdered sugar and add this slowly and mix it on low speed. Now to make this frosting a chocolate frosting, we're going to grab that chocolate mixture we made earlier and we're going to dump it right in. Now we're going to mix that all up together. Next, we're going to add a tablespoon of vanilla extract. Okay, you might see my frosting is a little bit on the runny side, and I'm going to tell you why. I did not let my chocolate cool enough before I added it. So I'm going to let it sit and set up a little bit before I'm going to use it to frost my cupcakes. So don't do what I did. Make sure your chocolate is nice and cooled down before you incorporate it into your frosting. Our frosting is all done and our cupcakes are ready to be decorated. So I have one of these pastry bags here that I'm going to fill with the frosting, and I'm going to pipe it on to all of the cupcakes. Now you don't have to use one of these. You could also just use an offset spatula or a butter knife and frost your cupcakes however you like. Okay, y'all, we have these beautiful cupcakes and cake that we baked together, and they are delicious. You know what? One of these doesn't look like the other one. I wonder what's up with this. It looks so good on the outside, but wait a minute. You guys, there's dog food on the inside. Oh, what? Well, I think there's a reason for this. You know, if you do all the right things in the world, you can look real nice on the outside. You may ask, hey, what makes you a Christian? Is it reading your Bible? Is it doing your devotions? Is it being nice to your parents and your siblings? Or is it what's on the inside? You guys, the only way you can be a Christian is if Jesus himself comes into your life and changes your heart. He takes the sin in your life and he pays for it on the cross and died for that sin on the cross so that you can be cleaned up on the inside. So, as pretty as you can try to make yourself look on the outside, if Jesus has not transformed your heart and your life, then it just is some nice frosting on the outside, right? That's all we have for you today. Thanks for baking with me.